So I am the software development manager within the M&I Foxboro line. I'm responsible for DTMs, which, as you've seen throughout the day, are used across our product lines, as well as the firmware in the instrumentation and other pieces of software like Flow Expert Pro, some of our older configuration software like PCMV, etc. So I noticed the first slide I have here really jumps right into the technology, and it's probably not where we want to start this now that I think about it, because some of you may not know really what FDT is in the sense of what it means to us as a product within M&I and what it is. And FDT-DTMs are our configuration software. It's a standard piece of software that we've moved to over the last 5-year period or so to provide an integrated solution built around a standards body where we can get certification and provide a more integrated solution to our customers. So as we go through the technology of it, you'll learn a little more about some of the technical workings, and then we'll go through product offerings and some of our strategy of how we want to approach the DTM development and the user experience. And one more comment before I take that step is that the software is available on our website, free. You can go to, I don't know which page to direct you to, but if you go to foxboro.com, it eventually gets you there. Roland can tell you more specifically where it is. It's also available in Bioautomation as part of the PC50 CD. And one of the things that we're really taking on is updating that CD more frequently. So we should now start seeing a 6-month update cycle on that CD as long as we have something new. We always seem to kind of delay the release of the CD because there's always something else to go on it, and we never release the CD. So now we're going to move that forward. You can get the software on the website, or you can order it with Bioautomation. So what is FDT? FDT is built of 3 components: a frame application, a communications DTM, and a device DTM. The frame application is essentially the hosting application for the other 2 pieces of the puzzle, the communications DTM and the device DTM. Frame application that we choose to use is something called Packware. It's a consortium that we joined. It runs on your PC, runs on XP, Windows 7, Windows Vista. Frames can be integrated into your system. So IA has a built-in frame. Other third parties could have built-in frames. So they don't need to run Packware. Packware is our PC tool that we deliver it on. But the frame is a standard defined by the organization. So again, it's a place where our end product, the device DTM, ends up residing. To get there, you take the frame and load in the communications DTM. So now that frame can have HART, Fieldbus, Modbus, Profibus, and a host of other protocols. Those particular communications DTMs can be delivered by the vendors. So if you're using something like a multiplexer, they would have a DTM that would handle the communications there. We have historically not developed any of the protocol DTMs except Foxconn, and that's for obvious reasons. We are the only ones that do Foxconn. The device DTM. So the device DTM is the key component to our user experience and what we try to deliver to the customer. This is the thing that represents the interface. This is the screenshots you've seen earlier today through the various presentations. This is what we try to produce, and we try to produce in a standard manner to give a better user experience and easier configuration for our customers. As Joe pointed out in his presentation with setting up a custom table, you don't want to do that on an LCD display. You can do it, but it's much easier to do it with a DTM. Meter verification, great feature, something only the DTM can execute right now, and you can get a report. You can't do these kind of things as easily as you can in a DTM as compared to, say, something like a DD or that, or similar. A DD is nice, it'll get you some of the configuration. DTM gives you the user experience. It's a Windows application that we've learned to grow with over the last 20 years of learning, using and leveraging Microsoft technologies. So the benefits of a DTM. Device operation, immediate access to each device, easier commissioning, easier user experience, a concise and coordinated location for all your DTMs beyond one vendor. So a frame application can not only host our DTM, it could host some other transmitter that we don't offer as DTM. The user has one application to run, one place to go for configuration, and standards that govern the operation of this. So that the products should be more inherently easy to use and compatible. You won't run into the custom configuration software, and I install one vendor's software and another vendor's software and they break each other. Those days are something that we like to view in the rearview mirror. Reduced cost of ownership, less tools in the plant, as I just discussed, less complexity of configuration, easier engineering and training. Again, you're getting that rich user experience. As mentioned earlier, we give the DTMs away for free. Freedom to choose the best in breed instruments and maintenance tools. So again, when we go back to the frame application and the device DTMs, it's not just our DTMs that can reside there. Yes, we want to sell our products and have customers using our stuff, but we do recognize that we don't have every single product on the market. And this, again, brings you back to one coordinated location to use your configuration tools. FDT benefits ease of use. FDT governs a style within the DTM development so that all DTMs, regardless of vendor, will have a similar look and feel. We go a step further, as I'll discuss. Full screen editing capability, powerful platforms. We could take a DTM, and as I like to say to my portfolio partners, we can do anything you want in a Windows application in DTM. Try that with the DD. You know, if you want to tie into a database, you want to do a verification report, you want to bring up user documentation on a local server, on the web, we can do that in a DTM, and we do many of those things already today. Ease of installation, again, it's a Windows app, common installations, everything ends up in one place. You're not running 10 different programs to get your configuration. It all goes to one central program. Certification. So the DTMs not only are written to a standard, but they are certified by a standards body. So every DTM we do goes through a certification testing by an independent third party, and then that test report is then validated by the FDT organization. So you have a good, stable, sure experience that you're going to give your user. They can expect that it will work right out of the chute. You won't have those kind of compatibility problems you might have experienced in the past. So our DTMs, and as I like to say, our advanced DTMs, we offer, when we originally did the DTMs 5+ years ago, we needed to put some software out there to be able to quote jobs and win projects. And those DTMs were built around DD technology. So what we've done over the years is we've replaced those series of DTMs with what we now call the advanced DTMs. And those are the ones that give you the richer user experience, add more features. We do our DTMs for each device right from scratch. They're custom made for the product. It's not auto-generated. They don't necessarily look the same, much like E&H. A lot of theirs are generated in a similar manner, in an automatic manner, and the user experience is much closer to that of a DD. So common look and operation across our product lines. As I like to say, our DTMs support many different products, many different types of instruments, but yet when you fire up that thing and you look at the menu the first time, you should expect to see the similar things in the DTM tree, the menu tree. Much like using Word and Excel, when you go to the file menu, you can expect to see save, print, etc. You know, we try to drive a common feel across the experience, so it's easier for a person who's familiar with flow to jump to a pressure transmitter and know that, you know, the measurement values will be on the overview screen. There will be a page that brings up documentation, etc. One key point, and to add to that, we do customize each DTM, of course, to the product. So there are aspects that are unique to all the products. We, of course, deliver those aspects. So a common menu structure, as I mentioned earlier. And you can see there we have an 876 and a flow, not a flow, pressure transmitter, device overview, a general configuration, reference pages, all those functions that we try to deliver across every single product. And the reference list is kind of an interesting list because that's something that grows every time we do a release, it seems. There's always a new feature that we try to bring across all the DTMs. So when we do maintenance releases, we constantly review what's offered in that tree and what is missing from the one we did a year ago. And let's update that. Let's not just fix bugs, let's bring that feature forward. Common layout, common presentation of device status. That's a status indicator there, displaying heart status in this case. All our heart devices have a screen that is, I want to say, exactly like that. We bubble those green and yellow boxes right back up to the tree level, so if the tree was collapsed, users wouldn't have to be looking at the screen to know there's an issue. They can click on the tree, go right down the tree and see where it is. And we go a step further. A little later I'll show that. Other advanced features we have in the DTMs. We have charting, graphing feature, logging of data. You can record this data, you can save it, and save it to an Excel file to review later. It's not something meant to monitor your process and be running the whole time, but if you've got an instrument on the bench and there's something, you know, you're trying to diagnose something, trying to figure out what's going on, you want to let it run overnight, we have a log that'll capture the data and it'll capture it across multiple points. And all our advanced DTMs do this now. The graph values, of course, as pointed out right here, change based on the product. We want to show the things that are relevant to each instrument, of course. More detailed diagnostics. So earlier you saw the heart status tree common across all our heart DTMs. What we have here is this is pH, actually, in this case. pH DTM and a tree of the status of how the instrument works and how measurements are derived. And we have a tree like this in this product. We have one similar to this in Vortex, where the user can look at the lower level where he's seeing the error and actually bubble it up and see what the root cause is. So as we come out with more and more DTMs and revisions to those DTMs and updates, we add these features in so that not only does the user know there's something wrong, we're trying to help them solve that. We're trying to prevent that call to you, to TAC, to whoever. Self-diagnosis and really almost a root cause of what's going on. I just don't want to see the high-level error. I want to know what's really causing my problem. So this is a list of the current releases we did since the last time we talked about FDT about a year ago. And we have the CFT-51 Modbus meter verification DTM. IA advanced pressure, that's the fast speed response transmitter that Pat mentioned earlier today. And RTT-30 foundation field bus. We had already done the RTT-30 heart at that time, I believe. The Modbus DTM mentioned up there, the meter verification DTM, is an interesting step for us. Because that DTM does one thing, does exactly what it says there. It does meter verification. We have, through sales contacts and learning experiences with customers, learned that, and even talking to some people today, learned that we need to get the configuration tools out sooner. So instead of approaching these things with the monolithic release, where we're going to put every feature in at once and get it out, what we are moving to is a more agile development process where we can get the critical features out to the customers sooner. So in this case, that DTM, as it stands today, is not certified. And the plan was not to certify that. Because it doesn't do configuration, doesn't offer all the features that a regular DTM does. But what it does do is it adds one of the most valuable, Wade can speak to what is the most valuable feature, but one of the most valuable features of the CFT-51 is now available in the DTM for Modbus. And we already have plans to put that into the heart one as well. Part of it was already there, and we're going to circle back and make it even a richer experience there. Coming soon, and by soon, I mean real soon, not soon enough in my opinion. Personal frustration in that we have a lot of DTMs, as I mentioned earlier, I think, when there was a question being asked. A lot of DTMs right there at the finish line, personally killing me. You know, we're down to bug counts in the single digits, the low single digits, and we want to get these things out because we know, you know, the CFT-51 heart has been out a while. Where's the DTM? Well, the DTM can be seen upstairs, but it's not released. You know, CR, that'll be available shortly after product release. The EC, similar story to the CFT-51 heart. IA pressure field bus. So field bus and Modbus, if you haven't noticed, really do represent a new avenue for DTMs for us. Traditionally, we've had the legacy Foxconn DTMs, and we've been focused on HART. HART is a large part of our market share, but we realize that Modbus and field bus are growing. So now we have our first Modbus DTM and our first field bus DTM. And what this does is not only does it give us that one product that certain sites or hot bids may need, but it gives us the technology to build those other DTMs. What I'm saying is, in theory, it should be quicker to come out with the next field bus DTM for the next field bus product. So all that learning experience about what is unique to the field bus DTM goes away, and we can concentrate on what is unique to the device. And that's what we want to bring forward, and we want to bring that forward quicker. Modbus with the quick editor, CFD51 Modbus with quick editor. So this is another step in what I mentioned as our agile development process of trying to get things out quicker. Again, that's going to be a non-certified DTM, but what it does allow is it's going to allow basically the register map configuration of a Modbus transmitter, a CFD51 Modbus transmitter. So we're going to give a configuration screen that looks a lot like Excel. Is it pretty? Not as pretty as it should be. Is it usable, and will it satisfy our customers' needs while we develop something with a much richer experience? Yes. And a lot of times, as you guys know, you want to get that configuration done and commission whatever the instrument's trying to, whatever the customer's trying to do as soon as possible. And we recognize that, and we want to bring these tools out faster. So this is a step in that process. Following up on that, we have the meter verification. It'll then add the quick editor into it, and then we'll come out with the full Modbus DTM. And the Modbus DTM we come out with is going to look, surprise, surprise, a lot like the HART DTM. It'll have similar user experience, similar screens. The user should be able to, if he knows HART, the CFD51 HART, he should have no problem configuring a CFD51 Modbus. You shouldn't even have to know what the registers are when you go to configure a Modbus transmitter, because it'll be in user speak. It'll be the process variables as you know them. We also have updates planned for 876PH and the Vortex Model A4. Part of the Vortex is in line with a product development release as well. And here's a couple, we'll just move into screenshots of what's coming out really at this point, and a couple things that are out. So this is a preview of the IA pressure field bus DTM. And you can see the block configuration, or the block instantiation within the transmitter. The user can click on each of these blocks and actually jump. Everything that's 3D looking, they can actually jump to those pages with this screen. So again, we're trying to give a richer experience, a prettier experience in some cases, something that will wow people when they see it but still be usable. It's not just pretty. Analog input block diagram and how the block works and how the block's configured. Things within this screen will actually move based on configuration. These I/O connections will change. The PID block diagram. So not only are we trying to let the user have a better configuration experience and see what's going on, but we're trying to help explain some of how the instrument works at the same time. So we have documentation, tie-ins, and all that, but we also have some detailed screens about the operation of the instrument. And you can see this already in the Vortex DTM. There's a graph representing, I believe, the meter's accuracy and some other things within that DTM. Transducer block preview. PID configuration, or the overview. And as Wade showed earlier, the meter verification screen on that DTM. And the meter verification report is shown earlier as well. And this is the preview of the quick editor. As mentioned, this will be the next non-certified CFD51 Modbus DTM release. So users will be able to configure this. The expectation is that, it's functional, it does everything you need, it's just not as pretty as it will be in 6 months from now. Vortex Model A4. Again, if you're not familiar with our DTMs, the measurements on these graphs tend to be live, or are live, they don't tend to be live. Again, more user experience with how the instrument works. So when the user changes his piping configuration and his meter pipe schedule there, those graphs will change to represent what they have configured. live measurement display and visibility, simulated display of the instrument. So our instruments, several of them allow configuration of what the LCD is going to show the user. You'd rather find out that the user is going to see what he wants before he plumbs it someplace and has to climb a ladder to see that. And we have, within this DTM, with the 876 DTMs, a way for the user to sit there, configure the display, and say, yeah, that's what I want, stores that configuration in the device, and when you walk away, if that instrument was sitting there right on your bench, you know it looked exactly like that. 876, again, live measurement. The custom table editing, as Joe mentioned earlier. So all the 876 series DTMs will have this feature. A lot easier to go in and use your cursor and tab through that table and do your custom configuration than it is with an LCD. On the 876 DTMs, a very unique feature. We actually are offering, not only in the DTM, of course the instrument has to support this, firmware upgrade over the wire, over HART. It takes some time, but it's better than pulling your instrument out of the line, bringing it back, and updating the software that way. So this is a new feature that, as we look towards all our development, we're looking to have those transmitters be updatable without pulling them out of the line. And the DTM is the tool, one of the tools to make that happen. Unique to the 876 products, again, is a history log. And that really wraps it up, I guess. So.